Your claim is there were filings which said you spent campaign funds at a strip club, but they were
No,
incorrect filings.
no, they didn't say that I spent the funds at a strip club. Or no, let's say they didn't say that I spent the funds on strippers.
But it was spent at a strip club.
Well, strip club they sell food at the strip club, don't
So
they?
you've spent the money on food at a strip club. Is that more accurate?
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I stumbled across this video from a while back. So Royce White goes on the David Pakman Show, and it gets ugly fast. He's a Senate candidate in Minnesota, and he came on to defend some comments he'd made about women. That's not where the interview ends up. Around this time, a watchdog group had filed a complaint with the Federal Election Commission over how his earlier campaign spent donor money, and the Daily Beast had reported that some of it went to a strip club. He denies doing anything wrong. David Pakman asks him about it anyway. Before we start, a quick one for you. Should a candidate be able to say where donor money went? Plain and simple. Comment yes if that's the bare minimum to you. Comment no if you think filing mistakes happen to everybody. Let's get into it.
Okay. I don't want to use all our time on this, but it sounds like we're not going to get any more examples, and the audience can kind of judge that for themselves.
Hey, you can pick anybody you want. The whole Me Too movement was based on the claim that we should believe all women. Do you think we should believe all women?
Well, that we've already talked about. It's a completely different question, and it has to do with
No,
what
it's
is the
not.
responsibility of police to
Wait a
investigate
second.
if
Wait a
there's
second.
probable
Wait a
cause, and
second.
it has nothing whatever.
Wait a second.
Whatever
It's
to
not
do
a
with the
different question.
usefulness of being
It's
an
not a
American
different
citizen.
question at all. It certainly does, because there are fundamental rights of being an American citizen, one of which has always been the presumption of innocence.
Oh,
Number
boy.
one. So there is complete merit to bring it into question when we talk about American citizenship.
Royce,
But,
you understand
again,
that when police investigate crimes, they investigate crimes, but that doesn't take away the presumption of innocence in a court of law. Like, this is basic legal stuff, Royce.
No. It takes away the presumption of innocence in the court of public opinion.
But this is crazy.
It takes away the presumption of innocence in the court of public opinion, which now in today's world can be just as dangerous as the opinion in the court of law. And even for
false rape claims are 0.02% of all sexual assault claims.
According to you.
According to crime reporting from police departments all over the country.
According to you and
the police departments.
According to you, then why don't they bring more claims?
Who?
Why don't more make it to the courtroom?
What claims?
Because they lack evidence. The reason why police departments say, first of all, again, you're trying to sidetrack me and you keep interrupting me. You brought me on your show.
You created this sidetrack.
You brought me on your show. You brought me on your show.
And we're not
asked me about a question about women. I'm answering a question about feminists in the feminist movement.
Hold on, Royce. You
the point is when you assume that all women are telling the truth, or that we should believe all women on face value, by default,
I don't know anyone who has said that.
The whole movement of the whole Me Too movement was based on this idea that believe all women.
That's your assertion. I don't believe that to be true.
Oh, okay. Well, you let your viewers decide then. Let's go to the next question.
Trust but verify is the view that I've always had.
Believe all women was the commercial, widespread commercial. Believe all women was the widespread commercial and cultural sentiment from the Me Too movement, 150,000%.
You know, Royce, you sidetracked us on believe all women, right? You brought it up out of nowhere.
The believe all women idea is a part of the claim that women have become mouthy.
Okay. Let me ask about a couple of other
things. And I will say, in that vein, when women are allowed to say things about men with no boundaries or no constraints whatsoever, and it's culturally accepted across American culture and across political culture, that is, in my opinion, more than a valid reason to be able to say, hey, women are getting out of control. And I do think radical feminists are getting out of control. I should have been more specific, but
I get the
thought I was
point
being
that
humorous.
You think women are out of control. I got it.
No. I said radical feminists are out of control. Be clear. And they are. That's why they're bringing their children to drag stripper shows.
Let me ask about a couple of things.
Do you think that's okay? Do you think it's okay to sexualize children at drag stripper shows?
I don't think the children are being sexualized if they go to a drag show. No, I just don't think that that's the sexualization
you don't
of
think
children.
That you don't think children are being? Would it be okay for me as a grown adult male to take underage kids to a regular strip club?
I don't think they're allowed. No.
So why are they allowed to do it in
Royce,
but why aren't they allowed?
Royce.
Why aren't they allowed? Is it because of the alcohol or because of the sexualization?
I don't know the laws around strip clubs. I couldn't tell you.
Oh,
But Royce,
okay.
if
maybe
I
you
can
should
get a
learn them though,
question
because you're
in here.
talking about drag shows. You have an opinion about the drag shows, and you say
brought
that's
them up.
completely fine.
Royce, you brought
Right, but
them
you
up.
have an opinion about.
I'm gonna
that.
have to mute you, Royce. I'm gonna have to
Oh,
mute you.
okay.
You're bringing up topics and then telling me I brought them up. This isn't a
No, I
way to
didn't.
be interviewed as a serious
I didn't say
person.
that. I didn't say you brought it up. I said you had an
You
opinion
told me
about
I
it.
brought up Believe All Women and that I brought up drag shows.
No, I
you
didn't.
brought those issues
No,
up.
I
You
did not
just
say
said
that.
it.
They'll be able to watch it back and see
They
for
will.
themselves how
They
it
will.
went.
Let's
I
leave
didn't
it
bring.
for
I
people
didn't
to
say
watch
you brought
back.
it up. I
Royce.
brought it up. I'm going to bring up every topic I want to bring up.
Oh, so
you white
are
liberals are
admitting you
not
brought
going to
it up.
tell you. Yeah, I brought up the feminist movement and I brought up the drag stripper shows as an example.
Can we continue the interview?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is where the whole thing quietly falls apart, and I need you to catch it, because Roy White never recovers from it. You do not get to make a sweeping claim about an entire political movement, and then, when somebody politely asks you for examples, produce one, and have that one be a joke somebody made on a daytime talk show. That is not a position. That is a feeling he decided to defend on camera, and David Pakman just keeps the camera rolling until everybody can see it. And watch what happens next, because this is the move I see constantly, and it drives me up the wall. The second the examples run out, the topic changes. Suddenly we are talking about believing accusers. Suddenly we are talking about legal rights. That is not a new argument. That is an escape hatch. When someone keeps sprinting to a fresh subject every time you ask them to back up the last one, they are not debating you. They are running out the clock and hoping you get tired. Then comes my favorite correction in the entire interview. Roy White claims that taking accusations seriously destroys a person's legal protections, and David Pakman says this: that doesn't take away the presumption of innocence in a court of law like this is basic legal stuff. And it is basic. Police investigate. Prosecutors weigh evidence. Juries decide. None of that gets erased because people on the internet formed an opinion. Here's the part people should know. Back in the 1760s, an English legal writer named William Blackstone put down the line that it is better for 10 guilty people to go free than for one innocent person to suffer. And that principle got carried straight into American courtrooms and never left. But notice what it actually is. It is a rule about what the government is allowed to do to you. It was never a rule that your neighbors have to believe you. Roy White is treating public opinion like it is a courtroom, and it simply is not one. And when David Pakman points that out, he immediately switches to talking about the court of public opinion instead. He abandoned the legal claim mid-sentence. He just did it fast enough that he hoped nobody would notice. And then the quiet retreat. After all that build-up about women in general, Roy White said this: I do think radical feminists are getting out of control. Notice the word that got added: radical. That word was not there before. He only reached for it after he got pressed, and that tells you he knew the original version could not survive a follow-up question. That is not clarification. That is a man shrinking his own claim in real time and hoping you clap for the smaller version.
You brought up strip clubs. It was
Right.
recently revealed you spent campaign donations at a strip club. Is that true?
That's not true.
Okay. It's been sourced very well by the Daily Beast. Where'd they
It's
get
not
this
the
information?
Daily Beast. First of all, the Daily Beast is not a good source. That's number one. But number two, it wasn't well sourced even in that article at all. It was a reference to a campaign filing at
Yes.
the FEC that was not done properly.
Who didn't do the filing properly?
Whoever was in charge of the filing.
And who was that?
Well, there were a number of people, I would assume, who were in charge of getting that accounting done, but it wasn't
You don't
filed properly.
know who the people are doing your accounting?
Oh, yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, I know who they are. Do you want me to list the entire list of people who worked on it?
Yeah.
So you have time for me to go through a list of people who worked on the filing, but you don't have time to talk about the details of the political issues you want to
Well,
discuss?
how many people is it?
Give me a break. Who do you people think you're fooling?
I don't think we're fooling
Who
anybody.
do you people think you're fooling?
So the people who prepared
I answered your
the
question.
reports.
I answered the question.
I'm
The
trying to
question is
understand
no.
it, Royce. The people who
question is no.
prepared the reports.
The answer is no.
The people
The answer
who
to your question is no.
I haven't even asked the question yet.
You did. You asked, did I spend campaign finance money on strippers? The
And
answer
you
is no.
responded, and now I want to ask a follow-up.
Okay.
Your claim is there were filings which said you spent campaign funds at a strip club, but they were incorrect filings.
No, they didn't say that I spent the funds at a strip club. Or no, let's say they didn't say that I spent the funds on strippers.
But it was spent at a strip club.
Well, strip club they sell food at the strip club, don't
So
they?
you've spent the money on food at a strip club. Is that more accurate?
You seem to be very unfamiliar with strippers and strip clubs and drag strip shows. So I'll inform you, maybe
Please.
you aren't informed, that they do have food at strip clubs.
So what you're saying is the money was
No, wait,
spent
did
at
you
a
know that
strip
though?
club.
Did you know that?
I know strip clubs have restaurants.
Have you ever been to a strip club?
One time.
Did you like the food?
No.
You got to go to better strip clubs then.
Okay. But so what you're saying is you did spend the money at strip clubs, but on food. Is that right?
Well, I'm not saying that I spent the money. I'm saying that there was a filing on my FEC report that shouldn't have been there and potentially should have been reimbursed by somebody who may have been at the strip club, but that there is food at the strip club. So to say it was spent on strippers is not based on factual evidence.
I didn't say that.
Especially not from the day that you did.
I said it's strip club, not strippers.
No, well, okay. Well,
Which
that's
is the
what's
same thing you're
implied
saying,
by
right?
the Daily Beast.
It's the same thing you're saying, right? So we agree.
But that's what's been implied by the Daily
Money
Beast
was
and
spent
other people
at
as well.
a strip club by someone else in your campaign on
That's
food.
what's been implied by the Daily Beast and other mainstream media outlets as well.
And what's the truth?
I just told you.
Someone else bought food at a strip club with campaign funds.
No, I told you about the FEC filing. You seem to have a lot of time for this one.
Well, it's because you're so obviously lying.
Okay. I'm so obviously lying.
Yeah, just tell me the truth. So did a staffer spend money on food at a strip club?
Okay, so we go from that's not true to, well, the source is bad, to, well, the filing was wrong, to, well, somebody else handled the filing, to, well, who even knows who that was, to actually, I know exactly who they are. That is 5 different answers to one yes or no question, and not one of them is no. And then the line that should live forever. Roy White said this: they sell food at the strip club, don't they? My brother, nobody asked about the menu. The question was about donor money and where it went. Bringing up the appetizers is not a defense, it is a confession with a side of buffalo sauce. You have to understand why this matters more than it looks. Campaign money is not his money. People handed it over because they believed in something. And when you are asked where it went, there is one good answer, and it is a receipt, not a vibe, not a lecture about how the reporter is biased. A receipt. Then he gives the fullest version, and it is somehow worse. Roy White said this: I'm not saying that I spent the money. I'm saying that there was a filing on my FEC report that shouldn't have been there, and potentially should have been reimbursed by somebody who may have been at the strip club. Read that again. Shouldn't have been there. Potentially reimbursed. Somebody may have been. 4 layers of maybe stacked on top of each other, and at the bottom of the pile there is still a filing with his name on it. And here is the context that makes this genuinely important, not just funny. The Federal Election Commission was created in the mid-1970s, after a stretch of American politics where money moved around in the dark and nobody could trace it. The entire point of that system was disclosure. Not perfection, not purity, just this simple deal with the public. You raise money from people, you tell people where it went. That is it. That is the whole bargain. So when a candidate says the paperwork was wrong and someone else filled it out and maybe somebody should have paid it back, he is not answering the question. He is describing the exact problem that the disclosure system exists to prevent. And the thing that gets me is how confident he sounds while doing it. Loud is not the same as true. It never has been. And a man who wants to be trusted with public power should be able to answer a money question in 1 sentence.
You white liberals have a lot of nerve.
That's identity politics.
You white liberals,
Royce,
you white liberals hate when black men vote Republican. You hate when black men say that they like being American citizens. You hate when black men say that we want to have a border. You hate when black men say stop sending our money to the Ukraine. And you go to the WWE politics to try and defend your latent racism. That's what it is.
Hold on a second, Royce. Aren't you against identity politics?
Absolutely.
So what are you talking about white liberals for, especially when
Wait, what do you
I'm
mean?
a Hispanic Jewish immigrant from Argentina?
Right, but you have a white liberal ideology. That's what's funny about it.
Oh, that's something different. All right, Royce, listen, when you start hurling stuff around like that, we do have to end the interview.
You have a post-World War II democratic liberal order, white liberal ideology.
All right. The man who denounces identity politics is playing identity politics.
No, I'm not.
Royce, I really appreciate you being on today.
Your latent racism is obvious. Make sure you post the interview. Don't be a coward. And feel free to have me back on anytime so we can talk in detail where you don't cut me off. I like this kind of stuff. You people don't.
I can assure you.
You people hope that every black Republican or black America First that shows up is going to kowtow and sort of, curl up and run into the corner when you cut people off. That don't bother me.
Royce, I can assure you,
women have.
Royce, you're on a new topic now.
Feminists,
I can assure you, we will
radical
post the
feminists
interview,
in this country have certainly gotten way beyond the pale in terms of their ideology.
Royce,
100,000%.
You have my word.
You think it's okay to take little kids to drag stripper shows, but you don't think it's okay for grown men to get the chicken wings from strip clubs.
Royce,
you don't think that that's weird?
It sounds like a campaign finance violation. It's not my opinion. But Royce, we got to end the interview.
You can get food for donors. You can get food for donors from anywhere in the country you want.
We got to
I
end
could
the
cater.
interview.
I
all
could
right,
cater
Royce?
from Mr. Childs, or I could get chicken wings from a strip club. That doesn't matter. But
right.
you want to take little kids to strip clubs, drag strip clubs,
All
and
right,
you think
Royce.
that's okay?
Best of luck with the campaign. Okay.
Godspeed to you.
All right.
Don't be a
thanks.
coward.
And there it is. The moment the receipts get requested, the racial attack comes out. Not an answer, not a document, a label, repeated over and over, aimed at the person asking the question. And I want to be really clear about what that is, because it is a technique, not an argument. When you cannot defend the substance, you attack the identity of the person holding you to it. It works on an audience that already agrees with you, and it works on nobody else. Except this time, it detonates in his hands. Because David Pakman said this, especially when I'm a Hispanic Jewish immigrant from Argentina, and the whole attack just dies right there. The insult required the target to be a white liberal. The target is not. So what does Roy White do? He does not withdraw it. He redefines it. Suddenly, white liberal is not a description of a person anymore. It is an ideology. It is a worldview. It is a vibe you can carry regardless of who you actually are. He invented a new definition in the middle of a sentence so his insult could keep working. That is not a man arguing. That is a man patching a hole in a boat that is already underwater. And then David Pakman lands the cleanest line of the entire interview. He said this: "The man who denounces identity politics is playing identity politics." That is the whole thing in one sentence. This is a guy who spent the first half of this conversation telling us that identity is being weaponized in American life, that groups are being used as tools, that it is all fruit from the same poison tree. And the second he is uncomfortable, the first thing he grabs is identity. Not a policy, not a principle, identity. Here is what people do not realize about that contradiction and why it is worth sitting with. Complaining about identity politics is almost never actually a complaint about identity politics. It is a complaint about other people's identity politics. His own is fine. His own is just common sense. Everybody else's is division. And once you see that pattern, you cannot unsee it because it shows up everywhere, on every side, in every argument about who gets to speak for whom. And the ending is perfect because it puts both halves of this man side by side. He has enormous certainty about what other people's children should be allowed to see. He has almost none about where donor money went. He is 100,000% confident on the culture war question and completely fuzzy on the one question that has an actual paper trail attached to it. That is not a coincidence. That is the entire business model. Certainty where nobody can check you, fog where they can. And notice how it ends. He is still shouting about being cut off while being handed the last word. He is still demanding the interview get posted, as if the person who invited him on is scared of it. That is the tell. He needed this to be a fight about disrespect, because if it stayed a conversation about evidence, he had nothing to bring. David Pakman gave him room to answer for 9 straight minutes. Roy White filled it with volume. So what do you guys think of this? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.